I'll sit y'all for a minute before I start recording. I'm gonna start doing some night recording tonight. So before we do, let me just mess around with this beat I was messing with. Peace and blessings. Hmm. Now, I wanted to discuss, it's been on my mind for a quick minute about higher self and lower self, real quick. And in reference to God, a lot of people is asking me this question: Is God real? Is there really such thing as God? And and they brought up the Jesus thing a couple times too. And I think a lot of people have it like the elephant in the room, where nobody want to discuss these issues because of this controversy and everybody's been traumatized. So, from hearing so many people asking the question, I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a quick post about it to actually bring it to the table, bring it to light. Take it from being the elephant in the room to your reality. So on that note, I'm asking y'all opinion really. Is there a God? And in comparison to your higher self, do you consider it your higher self that is God, or is it there is a God separate from your higher self? I'm asking you the question that. And while we decide, or if you think for a minute, is which is which? Do you think there is a God separate from your higher self, or is one thing, or do you just believe in the higher self? Do you believe in God? That's the question I wanted to know, really. So, in between that, I'm gonna just give a little example of stuff that I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Because you could say at one point I was an atheist. I'm not saying an atheist. I always was a believer in God. I'm gonna put everybody in this category. Like when we first start off, we was raised in a family environment, so by just culture alone, you're raised as a Christian. That's your following your family. But most people tend to seek out other and then turn to Islam and Muslim, and different stuff, Buddha, and higher self and higher consciousness coming in spirituality. So people go through different levels of what we call, the initiation to the soul. But in reality now, when I say atheist in that sense, that's what I mean. Like you don't know where you belong. You don't know what sect to put yourself with. You don't want to tie yourself with religion or any type of cult or anything like that. And so we get this now higher self or spirituality or consciousness going. So I'm just asking in reference to, do you believe in just your higher self, or do you believe in God separate from the higher self, or do you believe that's just one thing? It's important for us to know this, because a lot of people I see on YouTube, we more into the higher self, the consciousness, and the new word energy. Everything is energy, energy transfer. That's cool. It gives us all this a social construct, a definition to express ourselves under. But the thing to that now, the question still come up: Is there God, or is just a consciousness? So now, when we ask this question, here's where we're gonna get into it a little bit. Now, when I first started going into the astral world, we first learned that you have a body double. You first come across it when you're in your dream state. And when you're dreaming, it's like you think you're dreaming like a projector and you're watching a movie. That's what we consider in our mind when we say we're dreaming. But in actuality, you have a double body. That second body now is where your consciousness go into, and you shift now, go into other dimensions. Dimensions is colors. Colors is vibration. Remember, a color is a vibration of sound. For every color, there's a frequency of sound that go with it. That's like the seven chords of a keyboard or whatever. So with that, color and sound are one, and with it is a dimension. So you, as an astral body, you leave and go to different dimensions, and consider those frequencies within the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, every part of the electromagnetic spectrum renders you a different body. You can't be in the astral world in your physical body. That's not gonna happen. So you have an astral body. Say now you go to the ethereal plane or the casual plane or the real-time earth plane. Those renders you different bodies. Take for instance the real-time earth plane. You go into meditation. Sometimes you have a lot of concern on your mind, such as family or worldly things. You could actually see yourself visiting your family, going to events that is happening in real time with your kids or whatever. So that is a sphere that actually you could tap in, like the Akashic record called the Earth plane. It's a real time virtual reality of actually what's taking place, but it's a body double that we actually experience when we in lucid state of dreaming or when we half sleep awake. This is like 5 in the morning. Most of us could hear the TV or the kids in the background, but your eyes are still closed. You still feel asleep. Well, in that state, you're on the real earth plane. That's a different plane from the astral plane. Now, the astral plane is just a plane of desires. It's only a plane for pleasures and plane for fear. It's an emotional place. It's for your emotional body, your first part of your soul. So the astral is not an actual full spectrum of anything. It's just a zone of desire and fear. And so that's where the astral zone is. It's a split off. Then after that comes the ethereal zone. The ethereal zone is a higher level, like you hear ether energy all flowing through us. Well, we have an ether body too. And so that ether body comes after the astral body. You transfer from one to the other. Now, the reason I'm explaining these bodies, there's many more bodies as you go through the electromagnetic spectrum. But the reason why that's important is because you will say, what intelligence give us this ability to shift bodies in accordance to the frequency you're in? Why not have the same body go through these? So you realize there's some type of intelligence that is creating this reality that we don't fully understand, as far as science is leaving us out, and we're disconnected from our ancestors' wisdom and knowledge and their observation of the universe and history. So we are really in a speculative mode, or we're researching now and finding out for ourselves. But if you read the ancestors' knowledge and you understood, your spiritual downloads, you will see that there's actually a zone for each one, and the spheres inside spheres inside spheres inside spheres that actually is governed by different, you could say, deities that's from the ancient, but in our reality, I call them gatekeepers now, because they're physically on the earth for it to physically exist outside. So now with that in mind, it's like we ourselves, these different bodies, is renders you to a different state. So the physical body would not be your full state, because this state of the physical body it has an expiration date. It gets old. It has to leave. It only here for like 100 years the most. So you realize then, if your energy, you're still eternal. You still have a side to you that is existing, regardless of we only perceive it with our physical eyes from the outside that you passed away. If you study Jedi and how the ancients used to bury with their bodies in a fetal position, you know that You don't die. You actually transfer to another place, and you're alive when you consider dead. You die after 30 days because you have the neuromelanin, which your soul is inside the neuromelanin. It's encapsulated around those cells. Actually, take around 30 days for you to actually leave your full body. That's why the dead hair grow, their fingernails still grow because they're still alive. The cells are still alive. So now, being that you knowing this now, you understand there's it's a intelligence in creation, a very intelligence in it that actually consider every opt of everything to make this reality of realities for you to experience. So when we talking about now the concept of God, just looking at these things and the intelligence behind it, a lot of people will equate it to alien or some type of universal consciousness. And these are new concepts. Like I said, when we come to the West, we start making up our own version of the story when our records supposed to link from, Hebrew to Sumerian to Egyptian to Babylonian. It goes back down the timeline. And this timeline is actually consistent with everything that happens. Our timeline is off now with UFOs and aliens. There's no history of that. Never heard of. You understand? We making that up. They're supposed to have been coming since 2000. They never got here. But demons is here and other things is coming here. And we live in our ego of what we expect and what we want and hope for. Like we expect to be flying cars. These are things that man makes. It's not something that meant an evolution in a human being. Evolution in a human being is an upgrade, not something that you thought of and imagined in your head and made it out of plastic and we're living off of it and you're saying we're evolving. So our concept of evolution is kind of twisted and we don't understand our evolution reside inside of us. We have to evolve spiritually, and that means to face your inner self, not look externally and try to compete for material things. So once you start actually take yourself out of survival mode, because in life we have a way of bringing on up to ourselves. They say in the heavens, because look at me as a dark angel trying to explain to you why everything is in being. We escaped from heaven a long time ago because we have free will. And our free will made us get into this place now where we're stuck doing what we want to do. So we bring karmas onto ourselves. As soon as a child leaves the womb and they turn of age to have sex, alien is like them twisting L and Jen. Yes, y'all Adamus, that's a fact. And so by you not knowing about L and Jen's, then you don't know about yourself because it all points to you, yourself, the inner you, just how many sheep there is to you. So they have to actually put it outside yourself because they're attacking you. That's the importance of this. Because what do you say there? You see these aliens, and people do when they're under Kundalini, and you start attacking it. You're attacking yourself. Let's go a little bit into the Matrix or Independence. Say it was a future you came to warn you about yourself. You attacking yourself. Say it was you now astral projecting, and you can research this because when you go into meditation and you're flying around or you're seeing things, NASA and the government picks that up on the radar. If you ever see the stuff with aliens and they say it's on the radar, that's non-cipher. They picking up people's macabre, and they actually pretending to y'all like it's aliens. Those light streaks you see them flying, that's what happened when you go inside yourself. You become those light streaks because virtual reality is out your head. This is in your mind. And so you realize by going in a meditation, you actually fly around as light streaks. Before, you ever notice how alien UFOs was these big metallic discs because they was trying to mess with our psychology? So you saying as technology advanced, so did aliens went to light streaks now from UFO heavy discs? How advanced could those aliens have been? They, that tells you right there it was a fraud because as technology did it, the fraud got better. So right there, yeah, you start to fear yourself. And so if you read the research though, the research points to you that we haven't fully evolved, and in us is a beast that keeps us in our lower self, in the survival mode where you escape from heaven from having the will to just stay with the Father, which would have been in the Son and fire. But you're perfect in fire. That's why they put it in the books. The one to come after him is going to baptize you in the fire. You know, when we talk about the golden age, everybody think it was big castles like Atlantis and everything. No, the golden age was when we was in the sun. You have to do your research, and you know the Bronze Age, the Golden Age. Go read what's called the Vid. I think it's called the Vid. It's the old story of Zeus and Jupiter and them, which is actually a real story. It's true. Our representation of Jupiter is Jesus, Jesus, Zeus. All of that is true. The planets came and they made the earth and everything have its seasons, its different weathers, what brought about different forces. So once you learn these, this is psychological on you. That's why what you do reflects on the tide, the moon, and what you don't do actually help the environment. Like if we stop eating meat, animals will stop eating meat too. Animals eat meat because we eat meat. We eat them, so they eat each other. If we stop eating them, the fear will stop, and we'll be one again with them. We never did that. They didn't even eat each other. They started eating each other after we started eating them. So you got to understand, if everything is as above, so below. You know, we study, if you study Corpus Hermetica and Hermes, you actually get the true aspect of what true religion would have been. Religion itself, you got to realize, is inside of you. You can't help religion. You're a righteous person by God's nature of your genetics. So it's easy for a wolf to come and trick you because you're going to give them, you're going to help them. It's just in your nature. But you're here to learn that this is not your sheath you're in. This is a sheath of fear, the shell. Shoal, that's what it really means. Shell, shoal was the original Hebrew word. When we translated it into English, it became hell. It did not mean a place where, you know, people stab you with pitchfork and burning. Shoal is the word for hell or shell, which was the outer core of the earth because we came from the inner core, just like how black hole, everything come from the core. A toroidal field, everything come from the core. The Milky Way is at the core. Everything is from the inside of us, our heart chakra. And so we got to realize you came from within. That's why you hear all the natives tribes say they came out of the earth. Nobody came from space. Everybody came out of the earth in every culture. How do we diminish the beast in us that keeps us in our lower self? Jarvis White, that's the hardest fight in the world. You know, if it was as simple as me getting on this video and explaining it to you, I would have solved the world problem and we all would have got rid of the beast. But it's our lower desires. And our lower desires put us to an unconscious state of sleep because your organs, it belongs to the planetary systems. Every organ is governed by a different planetary body. If you was to open yourself and take out your organ, you're looking at the entity that actually exists on that planet. It all came in your body to give you what called liver, pancreas, heart. Those are all different aliens. That's the alien in your body. And they're all in under the influence of those prominence that come from those stars. How do you cleanse yourself in your root chakra? All right, so I'm gonna explain the beast part real quick. So, being that they have control over your body by actually being the organs, they emit endocrinology system chemicals to your mind. Your brain don't have a hole in it to see out here. Your eyes don't have a hole. It's just a sensor that connects to neurons. So you don't know what's outside here. Only thing you do is have perceptions from past lives and over lives, and it gives you a picture in your mind of what you're experiencing with these sensations that's hitting upon your eyes. But now, once you get that these sensations is the trigger of your mind, then you realize that your organs make you hungry. Your organs make you get this feeling that she's the one and you love her and you're gonna marry her. Then 2 weeks later, so fuck her. So you gotta realize it was your heart that did that. It was your stomach that make you want to overeat. It's not you on the whole. You looking in the mirror like, damn, damn, but you realize you couldn't help yourself. So you have to first realize your organs is your enemy. Once you realize that, you will first learn discipline in your mind so that you can take control of your organs. And so once you do that, you're not too much under the influence of the beast. That's how the beast gets you, by letting you believe you're the flesh. So that's why we speak that in Corinthians, all the books, especially the book of Romans. Go to the book of Romans, since y'all want to get into that. It tells you about the flesh. So once you get off the flesh, you get off the self, you get off the beast. Now remember, you're the ego. The ego is the higher self, the real self. You understand? Then you have the other ego, the lower part of the ego, which is the beast itself. Do you fast, Lord Enki? Yes, I have to, and you have to fast to discipline your body. If you want control of your body, fasting will control it. Take one day off Saturday when you're not doing nothing, that you're not gonna burn no energy. Fasting is easy if you're by yourself, because interacting with people, you have to hear. If you have to hear, use organ energy. You're burning the energy from your organ, which is going to get you hungry faster. So if you're going to do it fast, that you're kind of new to the fast game, try to be alone, so and don't listen to too much things. Just relax. When you relax, you don't burn energy. It's listening, it's talking. Those things use your immediate energy, and your sexual energy have to put it back, so it starts sucking from your ovaries for the women and from your scrotum from the men, and put it back as a sexual energy. So when you're gonna fast, just take the day out, cool out, and keep your mind upon contemplation. Try to contemplate how you see yourself in the future. You know, if you live by yourself, take your shirt off and clothes off, and look in the mirror at yourself. See how you see your body. Do it look like how you see it in your mind? If not, contemplate on how you want to have your body. Discipline yourself to not eat certain things when you come out of this disciplining of not eating. And when you do, be serious. Be more hard on yourself, so that you won't be the person keep walking by the donut shop, and every time you go by, because you went and bought one donut, you just unconsciously go back, keep going back. You have to be conscious now of these things where you're headed. Don't be conscious of what you are today. Be conscious of what you're molding yourself to be for tomorrow. That's where it starts off at. Now, where we was at, how do we cleanse our root chakra? Okay, now I was just told you about the beast, because it is our lower self. Remember, TV is geared to your lower self. Everything that's going on, especially with all the gayness and the homosexuality and everything, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking nobody for what you like, but when you actually start pushing it on TV and making it into it, you pulling everybody into their lower self. Let me explain. It's all right to love somebody, but when you want to have sex with them, it's still an action of cohabitating for sexual favors. So that's what people is doing, is cohabitating for sexual favors under the lower self. Now, if you really love somebody, you do for them, you help them, you push them, you uplift them. But to want to have sex with them too, now that's another thing. So I'm just telling you that having cohabitating with somebody just for sexual favors is against the laws. You understand? Fuck them and leave. Fuck them and leave. But you don't stay there and cohabitate because you're jealous now. You don't want to see nobody else with it. You see, psychological. Get over that and allow people to live out their destiny, and you live out yours. Nobody's supposed to be a servant to nobody. So when we was talking about escape, when we escape the will, the first thing we do when we hit 17, 18, we go think we're our parents and go be a parent too. What the hell is that? How your parents is caught up in a whole bunch of shit that they made from their escape. They went and fucked before it was early. 9 out of 10, most kids who was born was by accident, by their parents having sex, got a pleasures, and you was the accident. So it's not like it was planned. You know what I'm saying? Very few kids that's here, or people out in the world, with something planned. Go talk to your parent about that. You see the truth. And so once you realize this, we jump from 17 right into a relationship, get pregnant, and we're stuck being what you call the escape. That's how you escape your destiny, what you have to do, because now you have to go get a job. Now you have to go buy a car. When you buy a car, where you have to pay insurance, you have to keep everything going, inspection. So you have to do strange things to get these things that you did for escaping in the first place. If you would have just chill, stood at your mother's house or whatever, you would have learned some trade. You would have been able to get yourself together at a later time. Not so fast, but we quick to jump out and escape. And what we escape into is to the frying pan, where you just be a servant to the government because you want to leave first. Love is a connection or harmonic resonance on multi chakra levels. They want you to think that you're body bound, but you're beyond. Yes. Um, Of course, vibes rational. Um, Let me end this off and say, how do you cleanse your root chakra? The cleansing of your root chakra is when you have root chakra blockage, is when you're very sexual active. I'm gonna tell you how you do it. For you to cleanse your root chakra, you have to do a lot of meditation. Meditation is the key to cleansing your root chakra. Now, a lot of people, when they're doing meditation, you have to refrain from sex and eating too. Prior before meditating, it's best not to eat for the hour or two before meditating. You know, it's a discipline because your stomach is not supposed to be full. You're supposed to have only food one third of the way up, water one third of the way up, and air third of the way up. You're supposed to have like earth, fire, air, water. I mean, all the three elements in order. The air is for the gods, for the God in you. You have to give yourself space. Don't have it full all the way up, because without no air, you're gonna get ulcers, gases, and upset stomach. So remember that when you're gonna meditate, don't I mean fast a few hours before, and from fasting, then you would actually go into your contemplation and actually let me see, what was the question again? I want to make sure. Oh, my chats is hidden now. I think I pressed the wrong button. Hidden chats. Well, anyway, meditation is the easiest and the best way to get the root chakra. So once you start fasting, your root chakra in meditation will start showing you images. You start feeling like impulses. The thing is, when with fasting, you have to refrain from sex. It's like they go together. Fasting and refraining from sex, actually a kundalini experience happens. A higher you, a biochemistry takes place within your body to cause your evolution, and that's what you want. So when you're gonna go into cleansing your root chakra, it's like our greatest desires is sexual, and it has to do with fear, because most of it because we want to escape, we don't want to be alone. Everybody have fear in them, and the fear is being alone, so they seek a partner real quick, or seek a companion or a friend. And so we hate facing ourselves and to purify ourselves. So now when it comes to sex, if you refrain from it, your semen is going to build up. Same thing in a woman. Her sexual desire become a magnetic energy down there. And then when you start meditating, that's going to start coming up like a strong pressure. This is the cleansing, because you're denying yourself sex. Once you deny it and you let it push up, you will actually feel like your stomach muscles constraining. So you constrain it, even if you have to like feel like you're squeezing your anus and you push the energy up, it start pushing up, and you'll feel it like an explosion, boom, and it'll come out, which is the actual true cleansing of your root chakra, because now you move up one chakra to your Muladhara chakra, which now is like where you're gonna start seeing Leviathan. You become in the ocean now. It's a different world. In the first world, you're more sexual. You want to have a lot of sex. You just compulsive and always feeling that way. That's the blockage. You have to deny that for it to boom out. But as long as you feed it, it will remain low, and it won't ever be able to pass it, and it won't be a cleansing. It will remain a blockage. So remember that. It's the abstinence, and then the fasting, and then going into meditation till you feel the energy building up. You use breathing. Breathe out through your nose. No, breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And when you're breathing out through your mouth, squeeze your stomach and your abs in until you feel it clenching. When you get to there, hold it and meditate at the clench spot. You see, and breathe only right there. So you'll be breathing, low breathing, no chest breathing. And at times you stop breathing because we never used to breathe. Breathing was the fall of man. That's called Typhon. The Apophis ate us when we took our first breath. You know, if you want more on that, read The Flower of Life. The Flower of Life explained to you. They got Flower of Life Volume 1 and 2 explained how our fall was actually when we breathe, because we used to breathe prana that rotate up and down inside of our spine and all the way down. And we actually could do that. And I've done met people who actually spiritually, you get the download as you're meditating. You also get from colors, because I told you colors have sound frequency to it, and a dimension. It's a portal. Look into that. Every color has a sound, a keyboard sound that go with it. So on that note now, you will hear it tell you these downloads. And so when you could hear these things, it will tell you you don't have to breathe and you could constrain your breath. Now, if you don't know the procedure to make the prana go up and down, which is just like breathing, but you're just going like this, and you're doing it through your skin, not through your nose or your mouth. Now you're breathing internally, and you will see all you need and stay calm as a motherfucker. Stay calm in there. Don't panic. Don't worry about it. Forget about breathing, and you'll be fine in there. You be like them yogis who could stay in a glass case and no air is in there for a day or two. Practice it. That's prana breathing. So everybody's entitled to that. But you have to understand this still got to do with the higher divine self. The higher self do these things. The lower self is the panicker, the one who wants immediate desires, the one who externalizes life. And through your mirror neurons, you're gonna, like a child, you take your child to a karate movie, they come out doing karate. You take them to see Spider-Man, they're Spider-Man. Take them to see any movie that there's it's like a lot of action. They mirror those characters. So you realize that's the same thing you're doing. You're mirroring your reality by you observing your reality. And so by you not being conscious of it, you take pieces of here, and you create what's called your personality and character. It's not the true you. But when you go inside through meditation, this is where twice born come into the picture. Because after a while, these characters, these pseudo characters that you create, start dissolving, and the true self come out, the ego come out, which is the I. And once that ego come up, these characteristics just seem to be, it feel like something is under attack. It feel like you're being attacked in your own body. You feel like you're not yourself. And eventually that higher self is going to kill those pseudo characteristics because they was picked up from your mirror neurons. Those neurons get snipped off now. And it's like you have to relearn yourself through actually knowing your limitations. Not using your ego and want to see everything that you want to see out there and be everything you want to be that you see out there. It's first learning your limitations and who am I, and what's my purpose here. And once you're able to grasp that concept, it make you a creator now. You're not actually mimicking or following a path that's already paved. You come to pave a path for those that's from your dimension, your spirit family, for them to take that road now. Similar like how rap music came into the game, and ever since it's been expanding and expanding to be $1 billion business, a multi-billion-dollar business, and so forth. So it's these chances and these so-called risks that we take. What I would just say is not jumping out the family household so early escape. The modern family, you look, some societies they actually let the adults stay there till they're 30. But we at 16, 17, we take on the same karma that our parents have and repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. And what we really servants. You're not on your path of destiny, nor on you on the path of truth, because we become heroes. We become those mirror neurons Spider-Man as a parent. Think about what a parent is. When you say you're the parent, you have to go out there and bring home the bacon and make this so you feel like the hero. You become very patriotic. But it comes from the mirror neurons seeing those movies first. Because in reality, you would have been questioning your who I am. And you can't take your kids with you. You can't take your food with you. You can't take your house with you. You will question who am I? What was my purpose for coming here? Because you can take jealousy, envy, hate, lust with you. You take a lot of demons with you that you don't think about. We only think about the physical things we can't take with us. But who are we making ourselves into? What are you creating? That's what you got to look at as the most important thing. By what you watch. You watch gun shows, niggas killing each other. All this, that's who you becoming, and that's the beast. That's what he want. When you go back, you became these characters, these overbodies, these splits, these different persons from when you at work to when you at home to when you treat this friend like this and you treat that. These are all splits that exist in the spirit world as separate yous. Your consciousness split up into all of them. Like I tell you, your soul is throughout your whole body in little parts, particles. So that's how you will be in splits. And so you see everybody try to unite you through what we call yoga, union of energy, and actually meditation unites everything back so you could be back in control of all this. So if you didn't get like how the your self work, you get it through recognizing yourself at work, recognizing yourself here, recognizing yourself. That's the trick to this. Know thyself. You could be a millionaire if you knew yourself, because you'll know your limitation. You'll know when to call on somebody else to do something you're supposed to do because you know you're limited. And if you don't know that, you're going to make yourself look ignorant and try to do something you can't do just to wing it. And that's the difference. Winging it is that's when we lost free will. You understand? So when you saying now you're coming down here for some lesson and then you're going back up to home as an angel, you have to face all the demons, the demions, the seraphims, the cherubims, the dragon, the things, the Anunnakis. All of this is a part of you coming down. That's the journey you took to make flesh. Pineal is from the Sumerians. You see them with the pine cone. Each being is showing you what they added to the organs of the body to give you this experience you're having. But when you're going back, you take and leave everything back. So by you understanding that, that's what Buddha came to teach us about attachments and enlightenment. Because at the end, when you're saying enlightenment, you're the mind, Thoth. You're under Thoth. Thoth is the same as Jesus. It's no different. Thoth um, cultured Isis and Osiris. He was their overseer, just like who they Jesus had, Mary and Joseph. The same shit. Everything is the same. So you gotta realize you're inside Thoth. Thoth would be our modern Jesus. And it's the same as a sheep. It's not a human being because you're not a human being. If you see yourself that way, you will only take yourself that way upon death. But if you see yourself more, you will understand then the different possibilities you have, the different perception, the subatomic you. Your dreams won't seem so crazy, and it won't be dreams, it'll be more projections. And you will understand it's more parts to you that's in different spectrum of the electromagnetic field that interact not just with you, but it's higher sources of yourself. As you raise in consciousness, you leave one sheath of yourself to go into another, even though you're here, but you're still operating from a distant sheath. Once you understand that this is how you are, you won't have a problem. What we call, the towers, was when everything falls for you, don't work out, because then you holding on to it, even if it's abusive to you, it's no good for you, because then you realize it's just a sheath. Let that sheath go, and you're in a new sheath. You're a creator. It can't end. And so once you understand that, you understand you're in the God system. It's a system designed to be perfect no matter how you look at it because it's a hologram. A hologram down to the smallest component, you could break it into micro pieces, it still retained a whole in it. That's what we call the Godhead. So it's no way you could ever fall, fail, or run out of energy, not exist. Because every time you're in a sand, and if you take a sand and cut it into 100 pieces, you're in every 100 pieces. If you cut those 100 pieces into 1,000 pieces, you're in every 1,000 piece. Once you get to realize that, then you realize in your reality you're in. That's why it's mystical and magical. But through government, they control it. And so you find as a citizen, yes, you find learning, but just like in the Matrix, you gotta wake up one day from the computer to who you are. If you don't wake up to who you are, the government will tell you who you are. You're an angel. You're a higher being. There is a God. It doesn't matter about energy. It doesn't matter. Yes, all of these is abilities within your God self. You got to understand that. And your God. There is a bigger God. But remember, everything is a triangle from one that comes down. So when we say Ocean, Ogun, Osiris, Isis, it's the same one God. But it manifests in many forms, including you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When the man says ye are gods, it's only logical that if you had a parent and your parents is human, they're human. So if your parent is a god, then you're God. It's only logical. But we don't look at it like that because we like to humble ourselves, and that's not the problem. That's the problem today. In this modern society, there's wolves here. If we be humble, you're gonna get eaten by the wolf and won't make your portal. You understand? 2012 opened a portal for ascension. It's a lot of people's last time here. They're not coming back. Souls is leaving now. this is going to change. So we on our test. The test is to see what part you deserve, and wherever you belong, you're going to go to through karma and the tests. So if you don't understand what you're doing out of desires, really reflect upon who you're going to be in the future, what position you play. It could be from a grain of sand to a fish to a star to whatever. It's so many frequencies to this. You will have to take the journey into yourself to find these things. But it starts off by taking the journey, by meditating. And you meditate by actually closing your eyes and just letting thoughts go. Thoughts. You see, you're layered with thoughts. Once you take the thoughts off, you see the true you, those angelic beings, and you're all of them. Don't ever think that you're not one. If I had pictures, I could show you the hierarchy is so many levels to it. It's like you have. Let me see. I think I could pull up a picture. You have a system, and this system been documented from by the Rosicrucian, Hermeticism. That's why I'm gonna do one on the Hermetic system so that you can see everybody do it, and they all know the system. But once we fell from it, that's when we lost ourselves and who we are. But we have a Merkaba that works from a dodecahedron. This is what you are really. When you look at the picture, you see how he got more than one set of hands and he's inside of a Merkaba? This is the world that you travel in. It cannot be broken, it cannot be destroyed. On the nuclear blast, it stays with you forever. You're always in your Merkaba. That's the shape, the dodecahedron. Once you get it and you see what it forms, the Star of David, the Megan star. So the Israelites know it, the Jews know it. They practice the thing called Hekalah Merkaba, which is mysticism. Once you understand the mysticism, then you understand how everything works. The universe is a Merkaba. It's shaped just like how the Milky Way is shaped. And so you have that within yourself, and you have to tap in for you to actually leave this universe. It's no more of us just, oh, I'm flying around, I'm doing this. Like I said, the astral level have different parts to it. You just don't want to be in the astral level. There's places there's no pictures, which is like the you could say it's the universal consciousness of everything, and their thoughts just download to you. You don't see them. Then there's worlds where it's just symbols. There's cartoon dimensions where it's just cartoon characters. It's places where it's just the Oisha gods. It's places that's like the Harry Potter movies. It's mad places that you could consciously go to. It's not something that is off limit to everybody. But first, you got to understand the system, understand the way, what we call the way. You hear it in the book of Acts, the way. The way is also what's said in the occult for the dragon. If you're part of the white dragon, this dragon is called the way. The way is actually how you get to the portal. When you become psychic, you understand there is a dragon, and it works through the one eye of Ra, the one eye of the dragon. It's not something that's made up. John said he saw the one eye when he went up into his higher self, and you see there was a dragon that comes. That's the magnetic field that is alive. What we call a magnetic field is what they call the dragon. And if you in your spiritual body, you will see it as a dragon too. But it's your in the magnetic field. So everything is alive in the universe, but everything is opposite. Everything on that side is the opposite of this. So what's gross physical here is not gross physical here. If it's good over here, it's not the same. What we consider this is not the same. But we're the one that is more confused. So once you understand these two concepts, you'll be able to navigate better through. Um, I really have some things I want to get into, so I'm gonna cut this short till tomorrow. We'll be able to pick this up tomorrow morning. I'm gonna do some recording, but I really appreciate everybody. I can't see my chat got hidden. Top chat. What is going on? Okay, that's bad. All right. Okay, how you said vibes rational real quick. How can you tell what's your purpose here on earth? Well, it's easy for you to do that. All you do is go into meditation vibes, and once you go into meditation, you're gonna actually change. You're gonna wake up. You see, it's orbs blocking us. We under a flicker thing. There's a flicker, and it comes as an orb. And when you first try to see it, it's a flicker. It look like a flickering. But after it start messing with your eyes, it become a steady light. Once you can see it as a steady light, it start unlocking your perception. So you only just see things one way. You're gonna see things in a different way because that was what was blocking us. We all got that in us because of our desire. But once you become one, by through meditation, it's actually slowly coming on to you. Slowly, the flicker come, even if you don't see it. Usually, you see little light orbs in your meditative eye or whatever. Because really, what you're gonna do is close your eyelids and look straight ahead in the darkness. You don't just close your eyes. You could black out to a blank black zero, but you want to close your eyelids but look straight ahead. Egyptian style, that's why they show the top eyelids. You project through your eyelids. The universe is here. The whole universe is virtually in your eyelids. That's it. That's why the Egyptians show the eyelids. Everything is in your eyelids. Read in the book of Proverbs. He says Proverbs 1 or 2. He said, "Don't let your friends make your eyelids slumber, because they will enter." So you realize, you have to protect your eyelids. That's why they put the eyelashes and cover their stuff up. That's why they wear the black over their eyes. It's a deep science, but that's how you would do it. Close your eyes and then look straight ahead. Once you do, you're able to travel and you will see orbs and lights. It takes time because you're in darkness and you don't have much light. It take a long time for you to go and peel back the onion. Keep peeling back, keep peeling back. Next thing you know, you open up to a whole new world. If you want more on this subject, like I said, I'm about to cut it short. We could discuss this tomorrow. Just let me know. But that's really how you're gonna start to know your purpose. Once you do that, everything come into fruitionally. I see people start making, from jewelry to actually, crystals. Look on YouTube. Everybody's going to nature now. You're calling. It's a self journey, maybe of healing yourself first with from ego problems, your probably excessive want to have sex or whatever the case may be, whatever eating. These disorders actually give you the ability to find your true calling, because you will actually have a greater um, impulse to want to do something. It's what your desire is. What's gonna compel you to want to do something. That's your calling, and you will see no matter what you try to do, avoid. That's your love. That's something that you love to do. So once you realize that that's your calling, it's gonna make you go in depth more into it and have personal one-on-one experience, so you could come back and give your experience and help other people. It's like if you were sick and you heal yourself, you can heal others because you healed yourself. But if you never healed nobody, but you want to heal, it's going to be hard for you to heal somebody because you have no experience in healing. So the greatest way to learn, the greatest thing to do is have experience. Your experience will be your actual way of knowing where your destiny is, where you're supposed to do in this world. So I would suggest to start meditating, and meditation is going to open up all your perceptions. You're going to be doing things you never did, have instincts you never had, and they will lead you to your destiny. It opens up portals to your spirits. They come in and align things that we call coincidences. These coincidences add up to your destiny. Once you're on your destiny and you face your truth, you facing your truth is being honest with yourself with everything you're thinking and then everything you're facing. Even if somebody's correcting you, be honest with yourself. Once you could do that, you will see those will give you enlightenment. It's like a demon come off of you. Our ego is easy to be like swag it out and be like, yeah, whatever. But it's harder to be honest with yourself. If you could be honest with yourself, you take off a blocker off of you. That blocker now lets you go, and you have more power through your heart chakra and throat chakra. All right. Anyways, let me get into this. University of Conscious Science. Y'all have a blessed night. One love.